So now we will discuss about kinetics. So as you know that what is kinetics, till now we discussed osteokinematics, the movements and all that stuff. So here we will discuss the forces acting on these movements. So this is an lumbar spine. What forces might act on this uh, lumbar spine? One is the force due to gravity, the body weight is there, so the ground will pull it. So the gravity pulls and results in ground reactional forces. So that those are compression forces. What else force you will be having, since the spine is not straight, the spine is little bent. So the spine tends to have a shear force. So this is one force, shear force. And then because of these muscles and ligaments, you will tend to have a bending force as well as rotational force, torsion force. So what are the forces which will affect the lumbar spine? One is compression, and then you have compression and then bending, shear, and then finally torsion. So these forces act on the lumbar spine. What are the reason for these forces? First is the gravity. Resulting in GRF, ground reaction force. Gravity comes here, so it's a Newton's law. The ground reaction force comes up. And then the forces due to the muscles and the forces due to the structure. Structures and soft tissue. So gravitational force and ground reaction force, they give this compression force on the spine. Bending force, shear force, torsional force is mostly because of the muscles and the structure itself, and to some extent soft tissue. Not so important, but still. So as you take this lumbar spine, compression is held by the disc. As we discussed, the compression is held by the disc, the compression load is held by the disc, also the vertebrae. 80% of the compression force is held by this intervertebral disc, and the 20% is supported by the facet joints. So this is important to remember. 80% of the compression force is by the discs and 20% is shared by the facet joints. So this is about the compression, the gravity. And then you have the bending force. Before bending, we will come to shear first. Shear, what is shear? See, because of this structure, because of the shape of this tends to go front. The upper tends to go front, and here it tends to go back. This is shear. And this shear force is protected by the facet joints. As you can see, you cannot go front. The upper vertebra cannot go front because of the stoppage of the facet joints. So the shear force is supported by facet joints. Then torsional force, again torsional force we discussed. This is a very less effect you will see, the torsional force. It is because of the facet joints. So torsional force, shear force is protected by facet joints. Now the main thing, you have the bending forces. Bending, flexion, extension, side flexion. These three are bending forces. So you have all three: flexion, extension and bending. So what are the, we will go one by one. Muscles we will be discussing now. Gravity and all is over. Structure. Structure again, because of the structure you will have a shear force. And soft tissue, example ligamentum flavum. Even ligamentum flavum, suppose you are in this position, ligamentum flavum will pull it back. So it will also give some amount of force. And even your passive structures are here like this, it will hold it. So not directly, indirectly, even these passive structures will give this structure some amount of compression and some amount of force. So structure is because of the shape. Soft tissue in general, so soft tissue also will hold it. So now we'll go to the muscles. Muscles, so bending, I told you, flexion, extension, side flexion and to some extent rotation. Flexion. So which are the flexors of lumbar spine? Abdominal muscles and iliopsoas. These are the flexors of the lumbar spine. Extensors, of the lumbar spine. Now always write the important muscle first. Erector spinae multifidi. See, erector spine again, it is a group of muscle. Iliocostalis and longissimus. So these are the muscles responsible for extension. Then you have side flexion. Quadratus lumborum. Rotation, there is no space. Rotation. Multifidi. Rotatoris. So I hope you flexion, extension, rotation. Also it is important to know what are the dynamic stabilizers. I don't know if you can see this. Yes, I think you can see this part also. Dynamic stabilizers. Dynamic stabilizers are multifidi, and then rotatoris, and then you have interspinalis and intertransversalis. Yeah, these are the dynamic stabilizers. So these muscles are responsible for the movement. I will take a so flexion. To bring about flexion, you need muscle something somewhere which is here. Those are the abdominal muscles. They contract, thus you have the flexion. Also you have a iliopsoas attaching from here all the vertebrae, and it will attach the downwards to bring about the flexion this way. Iliopsoas are two muscles actually. One is iliacus, the other one is psoas major. So iliacus starts from the innominate bone, but psoas major starts from here, and they both come together so that there is a flexion. I'm sorry, iliacus doesn't have a role in flexion, only the psoas major has, but still they both form together to form a common tendon. So this iliopsoas, you can say it as a one muscle, and it will cause flexion. And then you have the abdominal muscles. Extension, erector spinae and multifidi. Erector spinae, see, if you have, this is a posterior view, you can see if you have seen yourself in the mirror or someone else without a shirt, there is two lumps here, this side and this side. This side is the ridge posteriorly, and this side is a lump. This lump is nothing but your erector spinae. That means your iliocostalis and longissimus all along, even not just the lumbar, you have thorax and as well up, higher up. These are the group of muscles. Then you have multifidi. Multifidi, it will start at the transverse process and it will attach to the spinous process above, like this, 2 above or 3 above. Not immediately, it will go little higher and higher everywhere, multifidi, so that both together it will pull the lumbar back. Alone it will give you a rotation, but together it will give you a extension movement, multifidi. You have side flexors, quadratus lumborum, again quadratus lumborum, sideways, this side, it will give you lateral flexion. Rotation, I told you, multifidi, and the rotatories are the small muscles which will located like this, so it will give you rotation. So rotation is multifidi and rotatories. Now it is important to know the dynamic stabilizers. Which are the dynamic stabilizers? Multifidi, rotatories, interspinalis, intertransversalis. So what is the importance of this dynamic stabilizers? When you perform the movement, these muscles perform the movement. You need stability, micro stability, so that there is no shear movement, smaller movements. So to maintain this micro stability as well as macro stability, there are muscles. Suppose you perform a movement. See, rotatories are small muscles. Multifidi, again, like small muscle only. Interspinalis, the muscles here and the muscles here. Intertransversalis, the muscle here. Intertransversalis, interspinalis, between two spinous process. So what they do, they hold it together, and since it's a muscle, it will expand also. So when you do the movement, it will give you a dynamic stability. so that the joint is not damaged. So dynamic stabilizers are very important in everywhere. Dynamic stabilizers are very important for stability. Along with this, it is important to know one more dynamic stabilizer, thoracolumbar fascia. This is also very important stabilizers. We will discuss about thoracolumbar fascia in the next video. Thank you.